Hello again, and this is just a quick video to discuss what people don't seem to understand much is delta seconds. Some people do, some people don't. So I just thought I'd go through this as we're going to use it, and we have used it a fair bit in the last episode, and we're going to use it more because it's a way of keeping tabs on making things work to a specific time. So obviously in the last episode we created a miner and we wanted to mine resources at a particular quantity per second. And now how do you work out how many seconds have passed? Well, you could do a bit of maths and say, well, do a quick count and say, what's the time last time a frame was run? Just do some maths when you don't need to. All you need to do is set your settings based on a calculation. So this calculation is using delta seconds. So if you've got delta seconds, we'll find my mouse, there it is. It should be mapped to one screen, but for some reason it's not. Bear with me a second. Okay, I don't think that actually worked. It keeps still going onto the other screen, but never mind. So delta seconds, what is delta seconds? Well, delta seconds is basically let's click here, and it's the delta seconds. Right, my pen's rolling all over my my tablet. Seconds equals time passed since last frame. Simple. That's all it means. So every time a frame is called, delta seconds is given, and we'll just show you that here. So let's come back into event tick, and that's what this delta seconds is. Yeah, delta seconds is the number of seconds that has passed since the last frame was rendered to the screen. Obviously you can lock your frame rate, so you will get pretty much the right frames per second. Now obviously if you try and lock it to 240 and your computer can't handle it, it's not going to work. But if you lock it to 60 pretty much most of the time, and 30, yeah, a bit more, but it all depends on your computer. So rather than having to do that, the easiest way around is to use this delta seconds, and this will allow you to calculate exact values per frame so that you can get exact values per minute, per second, whichever way you want to do it. So if we say per second, right? So say we want let's have a think. We want to make, oh, my drawing's terrible, 20 items per second. Yeah. So but we don't know how fast our frames are running, because they could be up, they could be down, it could be 60, it could be 40, it could be 120, it could just go all over the place. So how do we make 20 items per second? Well, that's easy. Delta seconds calculates how much time since the last frame, so you can calculate the portion of this relative to how much time has passed. So let's put this into text. So say we have, it doesn't look like my tablet's working very well there, it seems to be very sensitive. So say we have 0.01 frames has passed since last frame. You want to make 20 items per second, so we know that 0.01 of a second has passed from delta seconds. So ds, which is delta seconds, times by 20, which equals 0.01 times 20, and that will give us an answer of 0.2. Oh, it's not letting me. What's going on there? Oh, 0.2. There we go. So that would be our answer. But now the next frame is let's just say 0.05. So it took a little bit longer. Yeah, took a little bit longer. So now we have ds times 20, which equals 0.05. I'll put the 0 at the beginning so you can see it. 0.05 times by 20, which equals, let's work that out, 1. So now, in the last 2 frames, we have calculated 1.2 for the duration of 0.06 of time. Yeah. So that's how it works out. So that will make it so no matter what, it will always equal 20 items per second, because it doesn't matter how long each frame takes, it will always add up. Yeah. So just to prove that point, let's come over here. Let's put another text thing. So the remainder we have left is what? So it's 0.06, 0.94 left. Yeah. Does that sound about right? So just say that was the last frame. The last one took a lot longer to do. So put 0.94 of a frame. Yeah. So ds times 20, which equals 0.94 times 20. Sorry, I had to pause there because there was a bike outside. Sorry, where was we? So yeah, let's put the 0 there. 0.94 times 20, which should equal to 18.8. And if we do 18.8 plus 1.2, we get 20. Yeah, I hope that's made it a little bit easier to understand. So regardless of the time it's taking to make a frame, we will always get that number per second, because that's the one we're plugging in, and we're timesing it by the time per frame each time. So every time a frame's called, it tells you the delta seconds. So that was 0.01 of a second from the last frame. So that's how much we get as a value from 20. 0.01 is 0.2. Yeah. And then again, this one took 0.05 of a second. So we times that by 20, which gives us our 1. Yeah, which is 1.2 with the 2, leaving us 0.94. So if we do the same calculation just to prove it works, 0.94 seconds left. If we add the 6, that'd be exactly 1 second. Yeah. Obviously, seconds are in, they're normally in grades of 60, but once you get past a second, you go into hundredths, don't you? Really, to be honest, when you do calculations, minutes, hours, and seconds are always in 60s, but they always seem to do hundredths of a second and milliseconds. It's quite strange, but it makes this so much easier to work out. So, like you see there, 0.94 plus 0.06 equals 1 second, and we've added the 2 together, and you've seen we still get 20 items per second. So I hope that's helped a little bit. It just lets us calculate things on an exact amount, not depending on the speed of your computer and the number of frames it can draw. So you're never ever going to have a problem with a game working differently on 2 PCs. There may be slight differences, and I mean 0.0 something of a second might creep in, or a few floating point errors, but you're not going to have much of a difference. You're never going to notice it, not unless you sit there for days and days and days and the error were creeping in all the time, every frame, that you would notice any difference in the game. So this lets you run at whatever times you want to run, regardless of frame rates. This makes you frame rate independent, is what I think I want to call, rather than dependent. If you're frame rate dependent, everything's based on your frame rate. If you're frame rate independent, you can calculate times based on real world times. I hope that was helpful. I hope that was understandable. If it's not, please leave a comment. I think I've kind of explained it quite easily. And as you can see, all the proofs there in the pudding. So if you want to freeze frame and just work that out on a calculator for yourself, just to make sure my maths is not wrong, which it shouldn't be. No, it shouldn't be. But that's how it works. Yeah, so I hope you found that useful. There's a little snippet of an episode there, but I'm going to put it still into the factory building, because it's quite relevant that we put that in there. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and I hope that helped. So take care. Goodbye.